Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Safety Systems. The best security systems in East Tennessee are safety systems, fire systems, life safety systems, nurse call systems. I just like saying the word systems, which is why I love Safety Systems. Visit their website. Man, they can tell you everything that they do right there. It's all lined up for you, and they do a lot of different stuff. You see their sticker in homes. You see their sticker in windows of businesses all over East Tennessee. There's a reason. It's a great company. SafetySystems.com to learn more. All right, take a look at this. I thought it was interesting. Nancy Armour of USA Today wrote this, and I'll start with the quote. Don't ever, ever, ever take for granted how hard it is to get here to start with, and then how hard it is to win a game, and then another game, Barnes said after the 62-55 loss. It's really, really hard. Yes, but this is why Tennessee has made Barnes the fourth highest paid coach in the country, earning $5.45 million a year to win games like this. No, it isn't. I think she's wrong. Go to the next graphic. This is why I think they paid him. When UCLA came after him, they paid him to represent the program well. No scandals for him or his players. You don't have this Alabama crap. You don't have the Auburn, are we going to be banned from the tournament this year stuff. No NCAA issues. Recruit well, schedule well, keep the arena filled, and their attendance went up this year. They were fifth in the nation last year, and they averaged more fans this year. Compete for SEC titles, make the NCAA tournament regularly, keep the program in the top 25, hope for an occasional championship or tournament run, allow for an occasional rebuilding year. Now, people out there are saying, John, why do you think UT is paying him this much money for that? What makes you think you know? Well, because when Randy Boyd did this, he's a smart man, and he had Rick Barnes' resume in front of him. And there's nothing on that resume that says, we're going to pay you this much money to start going to Final Fours. So I don't think they paid him thinking, okay, now with this check means you're going to be a better coach. If they did, that's on them. I think they paid him because they said, we've been through hell with this program, up and down. Football's a mess right now. You run a good, clean, tight ship. It's fun. People come over and watch it. We're good with it. I think that's why they paid him. You guys may disagree. I don't care. So my question is this. Does Danny White agree with that? Will Danny White look at it and say, I want a guy who's going to Final Fours? Or does he look at it and say, we're fine. Sweet 16, take it. Top 25 every year, take it. What do you think Danny White is on this?
Well, I think you're right. That's why Tennessee, when they gave him the deal they did, that's why. All those things, recruiting is another thing because he's elevated that. 5 stars they brought into the program. So, and now they cashed in on an SEC championship. That's the occasion we talked about. Danny White, interestingly, when Jimmy Himes recently asked him, well, do you think the criticism is that, oh, Tennessee wins a lot of games in the regular season, but it's a tournament sport. Do you think there's too much emphasis on it being a tournament sport versus a regular season? And he said, well, it is a tournament sport in basketball. So, I mean, does that mean that now he's going to fire Rick Barnes? No.
He just gave him a raise and extension.
Yeah, he's also laid out how he expects all his sports to win championships and compete for championships and cash in every certain amount of years when he put that publicly. So I think there is a higher standard for him for expecting more from just that list of stuff that he was signed for.
All right. Josh, right?
I think he conveniently is going to play this right down the middle. I think he wants all the things Rick Barnes does, and sure, he wants to make a Final Four, but does he want it badly enough to put all the pressure on himself to make a perfect hire to make the Final Four? No. So I think he's going to be happy with Rick Barnes for the most part. As long as they're selling tickets and getting the other things they need out of basketball, no need to rock the boat with a program that otherwise is doing a lot of things well. If it continues to be an issue and eventually hurts ticket sales, then it's a different discussion. But right now, fans are still coming to games, and overall, people are mostly pleased with things.
Well, in that column, she wrote, expect them to win these kinds of games. Is that in general Sweet 16 to advance, or in the Sweet 16 when you're the 4 and the other team's the 9 and you're favored and you have the better personnel going in? Mm-hmm. I think it's fair to expect to win that game at some point to be able to get to the next level. Now, that doesn't mean fire the coach. But that does mean, okay, we need to do it next time. So I think everything you laid out is part of it. One, they paid him that because UCLA came calling. He wasn't getting that salary otherwise. But I think part of it was expecting at some point we'll go deeper than we ever have before.
I might take it to the point I wouldn't make a change, but I would walk into his office and say, I slipped there and said offense. I would walk into his office and talk about the offense. I would say, all right, talk to me about why you're doing what you're doing. Because interestingly, when he was at Texas, we talked about this before the show. If you go back and look, when he was at Texas, his offense was consistently better than his defense. Mm-hmm. Only when he came here in the last few years did he switch it. And he had one year, the last year with Grant and Admiral, that the offense was far better than defense. But for the most part, since he got here, it's like we're going all defense. Is that a determination he made as to what we're going to do here, or is that just, this is what I've got, this is the best way I can win with these guys, with this, I've got to go just defense crazy because I don't have these scores? I would want to have that conversation if I'm Danny White. You know, I wouldn't put any pressure on him that you're going to be fired if you don't get past the Sweet 16. Those are rich people problems to get to the Sweet 16. But I would say, I don't know if our ticket sales are going to continue to be good if you're playing 55, 54 games every year.
Well, it's interesting because you mentioned their defense first, but now the sport is offense
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's flipped, as we showed on those Elite Eight charts.
And I think that 19 team was his best team when the offense led the way.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, where does the FAU loss now? We ranked the Duke win. We ranked the best all-time wins last week. This panel gets to rank the worst all-time losses. Where does that one rank? We'll discuss going back.